Let's talk about Ellie.
And that's all you're going to say?
That's all I'm going to say.
Ellie is married to John. They've been friends since they were little kids. They stayed next to each other, and with obviously very different situations. Her father was a captain in the army, and he was very strict, and you know, she has her history with him, very sad and hectic history, whereas Jean's father drank a lot. So but through it all they stuck together, and eventually they got married, but then they left for England for 20 years, and now they have to come back, and they have to face the past, and they have to face their issues. And I would say Ellie is a very strong wife. She's a very strong woman. She stands by John through all of this because she cherishes family, and she wants this family to become whole again. So I think that is my main aim, is just to get peace and help them to resolve this absolutely difficult past that they have. You know, she also, I think she wants to be in South Africa. She wants to come back. So if this gets resolved, then she and their little boy, they can come back, and he can learn to speak Afrikaans, and they can just be this close family again.
Yeah. It's quite interesting or how difficult is it for you as an actress to bring across this sense of really wanting to do something about the situation with your husband, but you somehow just can't get to that point, and you have to find a way of balancing that without intruding on that space?
I'm going to say, I think that thing, but it doesn't necessarily happen in the movie. You have to make him think that it's his idea. You know, the support, just being there, I think helps John and to see what he does. It's a difficult thing, but if you tell people you have to make peace and you have to do this, they're probably not going to do it. But if you stand by them and you help the journey along, then it will probably work out. And I think that's what Ellie is doing. She's the softness in this man's life. And although she also has, I mean, he treated her very badly overseas. Something died in him the day that they got on that plane. But by being strong for him and with him, she helps him to see the truth.
Do you think this specific character in A Man Soos My Pa is going to allow women to just look at their fathers differently, to look at their husbands differently, and maybe treat them differently, as to just, because most women will just run away from the situation and you sort it out. But she's an incredibly strong character that stands by her man.
Yeah, I mean, all the women that I know are the kind of women that don't run away. But as you say, some women will run away, and maybe this will open their eyes to be the strong, the pillar, and it doesn't always have to go about you. I mean, obviously she also had to face what happened to her, but that's not the main thing. And maybe to sort out problems one at a time. Help your husband, then in that way he will help you. But I think in general, if this can help women to stay strong and stay with their husbands, and then it's a wonderful thing if that can happen with this movie. And I think it's important that we have to know as women that we are strong enough to handle lots of things. That's just...
And it's very difficult if there's a child involved.
It's difficult, yeah.
You know, if it was just the two of you, but it's difficult because you also have to cope with almost living this new life with your son speaking English, and the whole thing of also crossing the language barriers.
And you're not allowed to tell him about your past, or his grandfather or grandmother. He didn't even know they existed, pretty much. It makes it difficult. And the issues of the father are different than the issues of the mother. The way, you know, when we got home, Jean will say, no, don't drink that because that's the rule. in my house. But Ellie will say, let's just not worry about that now, because that's not the main issue. So it can make it difficult, definitely, if it's not only you. And you also have to be sensitive for that child, because what he knows about his grandfather is that he's a drunk. And how do you change that image? But I think throughout the movie it also happens with the example the parents set for the child.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you hope audiences will get out of watching this film?
I hope that people will see that they can sort out things that happened in the past. You know, every family has a secret or a scandal or something a little bit. If you talk to people, it will come out, and it drives people apart. And if people can just sit and stop judging and put themselves in the shoes of someone else and say that if you talk about this and if you get the truth out in the open, then we can sort this out and it will set you free. I know it's a very big cliche to say that the truth will set you free, but it will, and it does. And I think everyone my age and a little bit older will also, you will recognize things in the movie that you had when you were children, props you will see, and everyone will be able to recognize something in their lives, even if it's the love story between the two young people. I mean, it's beautiful to see their love grow through all of this, so they will see something that they can recognize.
And it was great for you playing opposite Sandra and Albert.
Yeah,
and
yeah, it
being
was
with them.
amazing. You know, I grew up with them as my idols, and it's just mind blowing to actually work with them. And when you know that the scene where I sit opposite Sandra, talking to her alone in a scene, she's so generous when she acts, and she's so professional, and it really helped me also to get where I needed to be emotionally. And they're just wonderful people, normal, down to earth, without any airs. And Greg as well, we supported each other right through.